Hi, beautiful people. So I have this very long, detailed, eloquent, 12-point font, double-spaced, Times New Roman outline for you today. Basically, it's going to be a continuation of last video, which was on forgiveness. Today I'm going to be talking about the difference between forgiveness and reconciliation, though. Okay, it's going to be actually explaining that and what that could look like in your life if you apply one or both of these. A lot of you guys said, because I'd said, you know, I want to make a video on this, I might in the future, and a lot of you guys said, please do. So here you go. Thought, why not just make it the next week? So since it's fresh in your minds and everything, let's talk about it. Let's do this thing, okay? So here's my first point on my eloquent notes for you. It's basically the difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. I heard this way to simplify it once in chapel when I was in college, and it's just really made it very easy to understand the difference between the two. It's not that difficult. This really helps, okay? Basically, forgiveness takes only one person. Reconciliation takes two or more people, you know, whoever the relationship is between. It only takes one person to forgive. Reconciliation takes two or more, okay? So forgiveness, just straight up examples here. Forgiveness, if I were to forgive someone, it's like in my last video when I forgave someone who hurt me. It wasn't me going to him and saying, I forgive you. That never actually happened because it was my ex and I really didn't need to have that conversation. Although with other people, I've had closure with them and, you know, different talks where we have, you know, gone through like kind of forgiving each other and talking about some things and whatnot. That was different. For this relationship, I didn't need to have that conversation. It was just straight up in my heart and before God, I said, I forgive you. And it was really powerful and awesome. If you haven't heard that story, if you haven't heard that story, go watch that video where I talk about what I did and how that looks, how you can actually forgive someone, what to do, and exercise for that. But it was just between me and God. I mean, really between one person here. And then if I were to reconcile, just a random example, this is not actually true in real life, but say my mom hurt me and I hurt her in a way too, but mostly it was me being bitter at her for what she did to me, right? Say that happened in my life. Or even say I didn't do anything and it was just my mom who hurt me, which again, this is not true. This is not something from my real life. My mom and I have a very good relationship, but say again, that relationship with my mom, there needed to be something there. Like I felt a stirring in my heart to forgive, to let go of that bitterness, to make things right between her and actually come to her and have that conversation and say, hey, this is what you did to hurt me. This is how you made me feel, but I'm choosing to forgive you. And you know what? I need to ask you for forgiveness as well. Saying that, having that conversation, sitting down face to face or calling if you live far away from each other, that would be an example of reconciling a relationship, right? Throwing out the past, saying we're not going to hold grudges against each other. We're starting new, afresh, and we're going to love each other better. We're going to try to reflect Christ in the way we treat each other and in the way that we forgive and not hold that grudge and not just keep being bitter and just carrying around that bitterness on your foot like a, what did I say in the last video? Just like a weight, carrying that around. I'm not going to do that anymore. We're starting over fresh, anew. You know, sometimes I've heard people who haven't talked to family members for 10 years because of one little thing that happened, right? Choosing to talk about that, come together and say, you know what, this really hurt me, but I'm choosing to forgive you and I want to make things right with you and restart this relationship almost. That's reconciliation, right? But it takes two people coming together to do that. And this is the thing I want to say here. It's not a warning, but kind of. If you feel after watching this video or even a couple days later, you are praying about this and thinking about this and you're thinking, man, do I have anyone in my life I need to forgive? Do I have anyone in my life that I need to reconcile things with? If someone comes to mind and you do this thing, which takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of swallowing your pride to say, I do not want to admit that I was wrong and I do not want to let go of this bitterness, but I know I need to come together with this person and say, I forgive you. Do you forgive me? Can we make this right? Can we start over? Like all the stuff I just said. Doing that takes a lot of courage and it is scary. And sometimes that person will not say the same. They will not reciprocate. They will not want to forgive you. They will not want to restart the relationship or see you anymore. And they're just done and they don't want to do that. That is unfortunately something that could happen. It's like, it goes back to being vulnerable and taking a risk, right? When you put yourself out there, you are at risk for being hurt. And when you put yourself out there to try to reconcile things, they might not want to or feel the same way, which is, if they're a Christian, not biblical, not the Christian Christ-like thing to do, right? You should reconcile, you should forgive as much as it is, reconcile as much as it is something in your control, right? If you can't control another person, they will not always reciprocate that feeling or the action of reconciliation. So just something to keep in mind. If they don't want to reconcile it, that is not something that is your fault. That is not something that you, again, can control. And unfortunately, that just happens. So be aware of that, but also know that there have been really great stories of redemption, of newness, of just life that has come from people working up the courage, swallowing their pride, dying to themselves and saying, I'm going to reach out, I'm going to make that call, I'm going to write a letter, whatever, go and visit. I haven't seen them in years, but I'm going to go do this. That is so powerful. And I've heard some really cool stories of people who've done that. And that could be true for you and your family member or your friend, or I don't even know. There's, millions of different things. All right. There's so many things, but I can tell you this, when two people reconcile a relationship, that there's something beautiful that happens. And when one person does forgive, like say they don't do it back, or there's a situation where you know you shouldn't reconcile it for some reason there, which again, that's totally fine. Like with my ex, I knew I didn't need to reconcile my relationship with him. We were not getting back together. We did not need to get back together and reconcile things. I needed to forgive him. So there are different instances where you just need to do one or just need to do the other. But in both circumstances, I can tell you that it's very powerful. And something happens in here and something happens in the heavenly realms where things change and joy just, is released all over heaven when people forgive. And it's powerful, a spiritually powerful thing. And God is unbelievably joyful when you guys forgive each other. And when you choose to reach out and do that. That takes a lot. That takes a lot of swallowing your pride and dying to yourself. So with that all being said, the last thing that I want to say to end this video is this. I know that I'm getting messages and DMs and comments of people saying, here's my situation, Becca. Here's what happened. Should I forgive or should I reconcile? Like, which one should I do? And I just want to say this, and I say this seriously with the most love that I possibly can, but for me as a limited human being, I don't have full wisdom. I don't have full understanding and knowledge and all of that. I don't always have the answer. I don't always know. And the thing is, whenever you talk to another person, that's going to be the case. They have limited wisdom, limited understanding, limited knowledge, and we are not able to see the whole picture. We are not able to understand everything that happened in every single detail, and just know what to do every time, right? Now, am I saying don't reach out to someone or don't reach out to me? No. I love talking to you guys when I can. I can't always answer every message, so if I haven't answered you back, please don't take that personally. That's not a personal thing or a personal, just something that I mean to hurt your feelings by doing. That's not at all on purpose. It's just I get a lot of messages, so I can't always reply back. But with that being said, does that mean you shouldn't reach out to a friend or reach out to me? No. I think it's really good to sit down with a person who's a friend or someone you trust and say, hey, this is my situation. I feel like I should do something. I don't know if I should forgive or reconcile. What do you think? It's good to do that. Very good, especially to just let it out. It feels good to do that. But again, when you talk to a person, they have limited knowledge, wisdom, understanding. But there is a person who has all wisdom, all knowledge, all understanding, knows all, is everywhere all at once, and knows what you should do. And when you ask him for wisdom, he will give it to you. It clearly says that in the Bible. What I would recommend for you to do is, yes, talk to a friend, but more importantly, pray and ask God for wisdom, for knowledge, for discernment on what to do, and he will give it to you. I promise you that God is listening and that God will give you that if you listen and are patient. I encourage you to fast about this. If you're feeling a stirring on your heart right now, like I need to do this, I just don't know which one I should do, seriously, fast, pray. Fasting is just spending time, basically giving up a meal or giving up eating for a day or a week or a certain period of time, or fasting from something you normally do that like social media, or just, it can be different for anyone, but something that you give up to give that time to God, to spend that time instead of just eating a meal or going and watching TV or going on social media, and spending that time with the Lord and spending that time praying. So fasting for a breakthrough is very common in the Bible. All the time, people, when they didn't know what to do or when they were very fearful of something that was going to happen, or they just needed wisdom or an answer to prayer, they would fast. And so I would encourage you to fast, to pray, and ask God for the wisdom that he promises to give you. And you know what, guys, I really feel, and I was praying for this before the video video, that things are going to change. Like, things are going to change in your heart, in your life, in your friend's heart, in your family members' hearts. Like, things are going to change, and redemption is going to happen. New life is going to happen. Grudges are going to be gone, and, you know, heaven is going to come to earth from this. I am praying that over this video and praying that over you. So even if you don't have that stirring in your heart and you don't know, oh man, I definitely know I need to forgive this person or reconcile it with this person, keep praying on it and keep thinking about it, because I feel like there's always someone we can forgive, and someone that deep down in our heart we need to free, because we've been holding them down in this prison in our heart, and it's only hurting us. So with that being said, I'm praying so many beautiful things come of this, and that God just frees people from the bitterness that we all hold in our hearts, and relationships can be restored and renewed. That's my prayer. So I love you guys so much, and I thank you for the people who told me to make this video, because I feel like God is gonna do really cool things. So thank you for the people pushing me and asking me to do this stuff. Keep telling me what you want to see, because it's always good for me to know what you want to see, and it pushes me to actually do them, because I don't know. That's just, I like it. So let me know. I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. I know that you are so loved and so beautiful.
My big sister Grace, I'm sorry, I never learned to sign. And even though you were born deaf, I pray you forgive me for the years I lived blind.